Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Anila. I'm Professor Anila of the Pediatric Department. Uh, हेलो जी, आई एम प्रोफेसर अनिला फ्रॉम द पीडियाट्रिक डिपार्टमेंट. होप आप सबको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही है. अगर आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम हो इन गेटिंग द स्लाइड्स और माय वॉइस, you can write it down into the chat box so I will know that you people are getting any difficulty in getting my lecture. So today our lecture topic is congenital heart disease. So beta, the type of the congenital heart disease, there are a large variety of the congenital heart diseases. Today there are the two types of the basically heart diseases, cyanotic congenital heart diseases and acyanotic congenital heart diseases. These are divided into the two types. Today we are going to discuss the acyanotic congenital heart disease. The acyanotic heart disease, the first of all, you should know what is the acyanosis. The acyanosis means when the patient is not having a cyanosis. So cyanosis is a clinical condition that is called as the bridge discoloration of the skin and the sclera, and it basically occurs due to the increased amount of the deoxygenated hemoglobin into the body. So acyanosis is when the patient is having a heart disease, but the patient oxygen saturation is normal and he is not having or he or she is not having a cyanosis. So the acyanotic congenital heart disease is the result from the left to the right shunt region. The left to the right shunt means the left side of the blood is shunted through some defect into the heart to the right side of the heart. These are called as the left to right region. As you all know that on the left side of the heart there is oxygenated blood with a high amount of oxygen concentration, and the right side of the heart contains the deoxygenated hemoglobin. So these one-way lesion in which from the left side the heart the blood is shunted towards the right side of the heart. There is usually mixing of the oxygenated blood into the deoxygenated blood. So the oxygen content of the left side is remains untouched. That is, there is no right to left mixing, which can cause the amount of the oxygen to be less into the left side. So the left to right shunt lesions, the name are atrial septal defect, ventricular septal defect, and atrioventricular septal defect, and patent ductus arteriosus. In addition to that, there are few more diseases which also causes the left to right shunt. We will discuss these at the end of the lecture. So, सबसे पहले, what is the atrial septal defect? The atrial septal defect is actually an opening between the atrial septum, between the two atria, right and the left atria, that permit the free communication of the blood between the two atria. It is seen in the 10% of the congenital heart disease. If you remember from your embryology, during the formation of the right and the left atrium, there are the two septums. They actually develop as a single chamber, and after the development there are the two septums which which separates them. One is called as the septum primum, and the second is called as the septum scandum. So the septum primum rises above, and the septum primum downward, and between these two is the foramen vein. And these foramen vein allows the mixing of a movement of the blood from the right atrium to the left atrium in the fetal circulation. So if this septum primum or the septum secundum, if they fail to meet into the middle, so they result into a cavity formation there, and this cavity actually then serves as atrial septal defect. There are the three major types of the atrial septal defect. Is condom ASD. It is usually at the level of the fossa valus, and it is very common. Ostium primum's atrial septal defect. It is usually present in the lower in the position, and and is present immediately above the valve. So it sometimes may lead to the mitral valve cleft, and similarly, in some cases, it is also associated with the ventricular septal defect, and then this combined defect is called as atrioventricular septal defect. Then there comes the sinus venosus, ASP, high in the atrial septum, that is at the at the roof of the heart, it is associated with partial anomalous venous return, or is sometimes also there. This is the scundum ASD shown, that is at the level of the fossa vallis. If you see in the graphical representation, there is a large hole into the atrial septum between the two hearts. And in the other, they have shown the very high AVST, sinus venosus AST, that is present just above the upper part of the heart. And sometimes it is also associated with the anomaly of the vessels present around it, that is called as total anomaly, anomalous pulmonary venous drainage. Signs and symptoms of the atrial defect are very little, and the most of the time the atrial septal defect remains unnoticed and is only picked up into the adult life during a routine checkup. Okay, so clinical signs and symptoms which are really present are the congestive heart failure if it is large in the sign, or other cardiovascular symptoms when we come, and most of the asymptomatic but may have easy fragility and little growth failure. And the cyanosis does not occur unless pulmonary hypertension is present. There is usually hyperdynamic precardium. Right ventricular heave is always present. Fixed, widely secreting S2 is usually fixed, and wide secreting of the second heart sound is most of the time the only symptom you will get into the atrial septal defect. Second and the third heart sound sometimes can be present, and the systolic ejection 2 by 3, 4 by 6 systolic ejection murmur usually is present along the lower sternal border, and mid-diastolic murmur then can be heard with the lower left sternal border as well. There are the two type of the murmur, that is one is systolic ejection murmur is present, another is the mid-diastolic murmur. This systolic ejection murmur is usually due to the high flow of the blood through the tricuspid valve, and the mid-diastolic murmur is due to the again due to the high flow of the blood. Now, if listen clearly, this is the murmur. अगर ये फाइल अपलोड हो जाती है तो इसके अंदर मरमर का साउंड है, जो आपको इजीली अप्रिशिएट हो जाता है कि डायस्टोलिक मरमर कैसा होता है. अगर आप इसको इजेक्शन सिस्टोलिक मरमर है, अगर आप इस मरमर को जो अभी आवाज आ रही है, इफ यू आर गेटिंग इट, राइट इट डाउन इनटू योर write it down in your mailbox के you are getting this murmur. अगर आप इसको दोबारा सुने तो there are first and second heart sound is clearly audible, and within the first sound in the first one third of the systolic there is an ejection murmur there. Okay. And confusion in this murmur, if there, you can write it into the chat box so I will know that you are not getting it. So this is the murmur. This sounds like this. Mid-diastolic murmur and the systolic murmur. Sometimes you have the mid-diastolic murmur in this condition as well. Now the question is, I just told you this question. What causes the diastolic and the systolic murmur in the ASD? You can write it into the chat box so I can get it. I just told you why you have the systolic murmur. Anybody? Why you have the early systolic murmur in atrial septal defect? बेटा आवाज आ रही है? Anybody, why you have the systolic murmur in your? जी किसी ने लिखा बेटा? जी I just told you why you have the systolic murmur. You have the systolic murmur basically because it is caused by the increased flow through the pulmonary valve, and it is not the AST which is causing the murmur. And similarly, diastolic murmur is due to the increased flow through the tricuspid valve, and this suggests the high flow lesion, that is, pulmonary pressure is more than systemic pressure. Okay. Then there is a surgical, the treatment for the ASD, it is surgical or catheterization. Robotic closure of generally recommended for the scandum. Closure is preferred electively between the 2 to 5 years of the age, so prevent the pulmonary hypertension. Surgical correction can be done earlier into the children with congestive heart failure or presence of the significant pulmonary hypertension. Atrial septal defect, the treatment is considered in a time period when the patient have not developed the atrial pulmonary hypertension yet. If once a patient develop the pulmonary hypertension, the shunt reversal cannot be done, and then the patient is only kept can be kept on the anti-failure medications only. So atrial septal defect early recognition is very necessary to prevent the development of the pulmonary hypertension, and so that this defect can be successfully corrected very easily. Mortality in the patient with atrial septal defect, untreated atrial septal defect, is usually less than 1%. Okay, atrial septal defect is most of the time a very smaller defect that does not affect the child living, and it is closed spontaneously. It can be closed spontaneously, but most of the time it doesn't cause any much symptoms. So, is endocarditis prophylaxis required for atrial septal defect? What do you think? Then it is not a any person. You can write it into the chat box so I can pick the answer. Anybody? जी बेटा आप चैट बॉक्स में आंसर इसका लिखेंगे. Anybody who want to answer? Do we require endocarditis prophylaxis in cases of atrial septal defect? The answer is no. We don't need prophylaxis against the atrial septal defect because mostly it doesn't cause any heart failure. Then the next differential in the asymptomatic congenital heart disease are the ventricular septal defect. So the ventricular septal defect is again, as its name shows, that there is a defect in the septum, interventricular septum, and this is called as a VSD. It is an abnormal opening within the heart which allows the communication between the right and the left ventricle. It accounts for about 25% of the congenital heart disease. So again, if you remember from your embryology point of view, the patient ventricular septum usually develop from the left side of the heart and the right side of the heart. There are the two type of the ventricular septum that come from the left and the right side, and they join in the middle and form the ventricular septal defect. And from the ventricular septum. So if there are the four types of the usually ventricular septal defect, number one is called as membranous type of the ventricular septal defect, which usually occur in the membranous part of the ventricle. Then occur the infundibular, subpulmonary, pulmonic, or supracrustal VSD. It most of the time involve the right ventricular outflow tract as well, and is associated with the usually aortic valve prolapse as well. And then occur the muscular VSD. This can be sometimes the single, and sometimes it is the multiple, and is also called as the front cheese mandibular septal defect as well. If it is, these are the multiple, and then occur the AVSD. It is the present close to the inlet of the VSD, and always involve the atrioventricular valve abnormalities. Ventricular septal defect hemodynamics shows that the left to right shunt occurs secondary to the peripheral vascular resistance, because the peripheral vascular resistance is always more less than the pulmonary vascular resistance is less than the systemic vascular resistance. So the left side of the heart, on the left side of the heart, there is the pressure is always high compared to the right side. So the shunt usually occur from the left side to the right side of the heart. Due to this high pressure or high volume that is shunted toward the heart, right heart side of the heart, so this large amount of the fluid is then pumped into the right ventricle, and so the right side of the heart then goes to the pulmonary vasculature. And when the pulmonary vasculatures are continuously exposed to this high pressure, they got sclerosed with the passage of the time, and this leads to the development of the pulmonary hypertension. Ventricular septal defect sign and symptoms are usually in the moderate or in the small to moderate VSD, that is 3 to 6 millimeter in the size. These patients usually remain asymptomatic, and the 50% of these cases will spontaneously close by the 2 year of age. So, if the patient is having a small or moderate VSD that is between the 6 millimeter, that is easily diagnosed on the echocardiography, then these children are usually not, we do not do anything significant in these children, and we wait for the closure of these well. The moderate or large VSD almost always has symptoms and will require the surgical treatment, always require the surgical treatment. 2 to 3 by 6 harsh holosystolic murmur is usually heard along the left lower sternal border, but sometimes it can be heard along the upper third sternal border as well. There is usually apex beat is usually shifted and prominent, and sometimes hyperdynamic pericardium is present. This is the murmur, how it murmurs. You heard this murmur. Okay, जब तक फाइल लोड हो रही है हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. Okay. So this is a type of the murmur you will heard. If you see, if you concentrate on this murmur, there is no first and the second heart sound differentiating, and the whole of the systole you see, you hear a murmur. It is quite different from the previous one, which was ejection systolic murmur. And in this ejection systolic murmur, you could hear the murmur only during the first one third of the systole, where here, if you see, you cannot differentiate the murmur from the heart sound, and the first heart sound appears, and then the murmur, and then the second heart sound appears. Usually, there is the prominent P2, second heart sound, and then if the patient develops the pulmonary hypertension, they also develop the diastolic murmur as well. Congenital heart disease and failure to thrive is very common. Respiratory patients usually present with repeated respiratory infection. Patient is having an exercise intolerance, hyperreactive precordium is there. Symptom develop between the 1 to 6 months of the age and progress very rapidly if not untreated. Small VSD, no surgical intervention or no physical restrictions are there. Just reassurance is done. The periodic follow-up is done. And in addition to these periodic follow-up and reassurance, endocarditis prophylaxis is advised in these patients because they are very prone to have the infective endocarditis if they dental and endocarditis prophylaxis is advised over the dental and abdominal. Symptomatic PSC is there, like symptomatic means the patient is failure to try, there is heart failure, the development patient is starting to develop the pulmonary hypertension, or patient is having the repeated chest infection, feeling abnormality, not feeling good. These are all the things which shows that the patient is having a symptomatic PSC. Medical treatment is initially done to reduce the afterload reduced and the diuretics are done. And these are the symptomatic PSC, which also warrant the immediate surgical closure in a patient within the first 2 years of their life. And we don't wait for its closure because this ventricular is now causing the symptoms in the patient. Indication for surgical closure is then the large VSD with immediately with medically uncontrolled symptomatology, which is 6 to 12 months, very large VSD with pulmonary hypertension, 8 more than 24 months. If the patient is having, she starts to have developed the raised pulmonary hypertension, supracrustal VSD of any size. Secondary, there is a risk of secondary valve insufficiency, AV valve insufficiency, atrioventricular valve. So it is also recommended that you close this AVSD early. एट्रियोवेंटिकुलर सेप्टल डिफेक्ट बेटा ये आपको मैं पहले भी बता चुकी हूँ. एट्रियोवेंटिकल्स मीन द टू एट्रियाज एंड द टू वेंट्रिकल्स are in communication with each other. Results of the incomplete fusion of the endocardial cushion. Endocardial cushion means the central and the horizontal, vertical and the horizontal cushion is not formed completely. So both the ventricle and both the atria are freely communicating with each other. Means the two atria are connected, two ventricles are connected, and similarly, atrium and the ventricle are connected. It is usually occur in the case of the atrial septum when it is a lower part of the atrial septum is absent, or ventricular septum is absent, or the septal leaflets of the tricuspid and mitral valves are also absent. So the whole of the heart and those chambers are in communication with each other. They count for the 4% of the all the congenital heart. Do you know any condition, any genetic condition? Is the you बताते हैं any condition in which the ADHD is very common. You can write it into the chat box if you are listening. You got any genetic condition in which AVST is very common. You can write it in the chat box that you are understanding it or not. जी बच्चों, anyone answer? Okay, ji, the condition in which there is ADSD is very common is the Down syndrome or trisomy 21. In this condition, we get 20 to 25% of the cases have this defect. Atrioventricular septal defect or the complete form low primum ASD continues with the posterior. This is a differentiation between the atrioventricular septal defect. It can be complete form or incomplete form. In the complete form, there is low primum ASD continuous with a posterior VSD. Both the cleft is present both in the septal leaflet of tricuspid valve and the mitral valve, result in the large left to right shunt at both level, that is in the atria and the ventricle. Severe TR and MR, that is tricuspid regurgitation, pulmonary mitral regurgitations are there. Then the patient develop the pulmonary hypertension and with increase in the pulmonary vascular resistance. Incomplete form, any one of the component may be present. That is, the VSD can be present, ASD can with the minimum connection within the other, with each other. Most common is in the primum ASD and cleft in the mitral valve and the small VSD is there. Hemodynamics depend upon the lesion and depend upon the how large the lesion is. So this is a case when it shows the complete AVSD, canal defect is there. Both the atria are connected to each other, both the ventricles are connected to each other, and the valves are incompetent and defected, so that both the atrias are also connected with their ventricle. Clinical sign and the symptom, the complete AVSD may be indistinguishable from the ASD and is usually asymptomatic because in incomplete variety we have just learned that the interatrial septum is deficient more compared to the atrioventricular and the ventricular symptom. Congestive heart failure is present in intensity. In large VSD, recurrent pulmonary infections are there. Patient is easy to favor. So failure to thrive, exercise intolerance, and easy feasibility is present. Late cyanosis from the pulmonary vascular disease and right to left shunt is there. Hyperreactive pericardium is there, normal or accentuated first heart sound is present. In addition to that, okay, in addition to that, pulmonary systolic ejection, murmur or thrill sometimes can be present. If the patient develop the pulmonary hypertension, wide fixed splitting of the second heart sound is there. Sometimes you can hear the holosystolic murmur at apex with radiation to the axilla. Mid-diastolic rumbling murmur is present at a lower sternal border, and there is marked cardiac enlargement on X-ray. Surgery is always required to treat the atrioventricular septal defect, treat congestive symptoms. Pulmonary banding may be required in premature infant or infant less than 5 kg to prevent the development of the pulmonary hypertension. Correction is done during the infancy to avoid the irreversible pulmonary vascular disease. Mortality is usually low with incomplete 1 to 2% and as high as 5% with the complete AVSD. Okay, and now the next the disease is patent ductus arteriosus. Patent ductus arteriosus is actually it is a persistent of the abnormal fetal vessel that join the pulmonary artery to the aorta. It normally closes at the time of the birth within a day, at the time of the in the term infant, and it is called as physiological closure because it does not function after that. and the anatomical closure, that is the septa, is formed instead of this vessel during the first week of the life. There are the large number of the reasons in which this normal process is hampered, like the prematurity, asphyxia, sepsis, any condition into the newborn which can lead to the acidosis will result in the persistence of this vessel. It accounts for 10% of all congenital heart diseases and seen in 10% of the isolated dyslien is present in the 10% of the congenital heart diseases, and 10% is present within the with the other congenital heart diseases. Okay, and the female to male ratio is to 1. It is often seen with the coactation, most commonly coactation of aorta and VSD. Now the question is, what torch infection is be associated with? Torch infection, you all know that what is torch infection. Torch infections are the infection which appears into the newborn baby due to the infection into the mother. You have you have already learned these torch infection into the different subjects into the fourth year. एनी क्वेश्चन आंसर बेटा कोई तो आंसर कर दे चैट बॉक्स में जी किसी क्वेश्चन का तो आंसर करो what torch infection is PDA associated with? What are torch infections? So the answer is rubella. If the mother is suffering from the rubella and the baby is born, this can result in the developed PDA into the fetus. Hemodynamically, as a result of high aortic pressure, the blood shunt from left to right through the ductus from aorta to the pulmonary artery. Extent of the shunt depend on the size of the ductus and pulmonary vascular resistance to systemic vascular resistance. If the pulmonary vascular resistance is low compared to the systemic vascular resistance, large amount of the blood is shunted from the left to the right. Small PDA, when the pressure in the right atrium, right ventricular and ventricle, right atrium and pulmonary artery are normal, it is called a small PDA. Hemodynamically large PDA, pulmonary artery pressure is equal to systemic pressure. In extreme cases, 70% of the cardiac output is then shunting from this ductus to the pulmonary circulation. When this large amount of the blood is pumped into the pulmonary circulation, this leads to the increased pulmonary vascular resistance and disease. Small PDA are usually asymptomatic and are not causing any problem to the patient. Large PDA can result in symptoms of the congestive heart failure, growth restriction. The patient repeatedly present to you with the pulmonary congestion and the pulmonary problems. And the PDA can these patients also present to you with the failure to thrive. Patient is usually have the binding arterial pulses. It is also called as collapsing pulse factor. There is widening of the pulse pressure. The patient is usually have a cardiomegaly and large heart with prominent apical impulse. Classical continuous machinery murmur is systolic murmur is seen. This is called as a classical systolic machinery murmur because it has a component both in the systole and diastole. Mid-systolic murmur can be heard at the apex. It is due to the large amount of the blood that is shunted at the mitral valve. Now listen to this murmur. It is quite different from all the other murmur which I have shown you earlier. This is a continuous murmur. It is both into the systole and diastole, continuous murmur. And if you hear it, you will feel like that a machine is running. Okay. Treatment in the newborn period, when the patient is born with the PDA and you are suspecting that the patient will have the PDA, usually endomethacin is given. This endomethacin is inhibitor of prostaglandin synthesis, can be used in premature infant. PDA required surgical or catheterized closure. Closure is required treatment for to prevent the heart failure and to prevent the pulmonary vascular disease, usually done by ligation and division or intravascular coil. Mortality is less than 1%. Then there comes the obstructed heart lesion that can present with that can present with heart failure. These are the pulmonary stenosis. aortic stenosis, and the coarctation of aorta. In the pulmonary stenosis, obstruction is in the region of either pulmonary valve or the subpulmonary ventricular outflow tract obstruction can be there. Account for 7 to 10% of all congestive heart diseases. Most cases are isolated lesion, but may be bicuspid or fusion or two or more leaflet. It can present with or without intact ventricular septum. Okay, ji. Pulmonary stenosis, which syndrome is usually associated with pulmonary stenosis? That is a difficult question. That is the Noonan syndrome is secondary to the valve dysplasia and occur due to the valve dysplasia. Hemodynamically, right ventricular hypertrophy occur leads to the right ventricular failure. Right ventricular pressure may be more than the systemic pressure. Post-stenotic dilatation of the main pulmonary artery is there. With intact septum, severe stenosis can lead to the right to left shunt through this hole and lead to the cyanosis. The cyanosis is indicated of critical pulmonary stenosis. Usually the treatment depend upon the sign and the symptom again depend upon the level of the pulmonic stenosis. If the stenosis is very critical, then the sign and symptom appears very early. Symptomatic patients usually have the mild pulmonary stenosis, only 30 less than 30 millimeter of the mercury pressure gradient in there. Moderate to severe, the valve pressure is 30 to 40, 60 millimeter of the mercury or more, and in the severe cases it is more than 60 millimeter of the mercury. Prominent jugular A vein is always there, which shows the right ventricular lift. There is splitting of the second heart sound with arterial delay. Ejection click sometimes can be present, followed by a systolic murmur. Heart failure and cyanosis is usually seen in the severe cases. Pulmonary stenosis, in the mild cases, no intervention is required and only close follow-up of the patient is done. Moderate to severe requires relief of the stenosis, and this relief is done by the most of the cases angiography is done, and the balloon valvoplasty is done. And if this fails or the patient develop the regurgitation, then the surgical valvectomy and the valve replacement is done. Then there come another exciting disease that is called as aortic stenosis. In aortic stenosis, there is obstruction to the outflow from the left ventricle at or level of the aortic valve, and it also causes the systolic murmur that is with a gradient of more than 10 millimeter of mercury across the valve, and it account for the 7% of the congenital heart disease. There are usually three types of the aortic stenosis: valvular, which is most common, in which the valve is not formed properly; subvalvular or subaortic involve the left outflow tract usually; supravalvular involves the ascending aorta is constricted just above the aortic valve. The apex beat can be shifted due to the left ventricular dilatation. Systolic thrill at the base of the substernal notch is usually heard. An ejection murmur is usually, that is the pansystolic murmur, ejection systolic murmur is heard at the left upper sternal border, which may radiate to the neck along the carotids. If you listen, there is a murmur, ejection systolic murmur, that comes only with the systole. Aortic stenosis, usually because surgery does not offer a cure, it is reserved for the patient with symptomatic and a resting gradient of usually the 60 to 80 millimeter of mercury across the valve. For subaortic stenosis, it is reserved for the gradient of 40 to 80 millimeter of the mercury because it is rapidly progressive in nature. Balloon valvoplasty is the standard treatment which is offered to the patient. And if it fails, aortic insufficiency or restenosis is likely to occur after the surgery and may require the valve replacement. Activity should not be restricted in mild AS, moderate to severe AS. No competitive sports are done because when these patients requires the increased cardiac output due to the sport, they usually cannot have that and result in syncopic attack. Then there occur the coarctation of the aorta. Coarctation of the aorta is the narrowing of aorta. at varying point anywhere from the transverse branch arch to the iliac bifurcation of the aorta. 98% of the coarctations are juxtaductal. Ductal, that is juxtaductal mean the point at which ductus arteriosus is attached to the aorta. At this level, the coarctation occur. Male to female ratio is 3:1. It accounts for some 7% of the all congenital heart disease. Coarctation of the aorta question is, do you know what this heart anomaly is associated with which disease? Very common. You have heard about this and read about this previously. Coarctation of aorta. Any best person? बेटा सुन भी रहे हो कि सारे माइक बंद करके सो रहे हो? क्योंकि किसी बच्चे ने अभी तक कोई कमेंट नहीं किया. यस ही लिख दो उसमें चैट बॉक्स में. जी सो रहे हो बच्चों के जाग रहे हो? अच्छा जाग रहे हैं. गुड. Okay जी. जी बेटा. So which do you remember know any disease which is associated with this coarctation of aorta? That is Turner syndrome. You must have heard the name of Turner syndrome previously. So the Turner syndrome is associated with coarctation of aorta. Okay, ji. Coarctation of aorta again. It is associated with Turner syndrome. So the what the coarctation of the aorta hemodynamics is obstruction of the left ventricular outflow. There is, as there is obstruction of the left ventricular outflow, the pressure within the left side of the heart is increased in the left ventricle. So this leads to the left ventricular hypertrophy and the cardiac output is compromised. Many cases, the aortic, there is no sign and symptoms of the aortic. In the patient, these are usually asymptomatic, and the patient roam about without any complication. And the sometime even a very famous football player, I don't remember his name, he died at the his ground while playing. He had this aortic stenosis, and this was only picked up on autopsy that what happened to the person. So similarly, when these patients requires the things which are to be done with high cardiac output, especially the exercise and the sports, they have the repeated syncopic attack. They fell down and then they get up and they don't realize it that they had a syncopic attack. But it is due to the restricted cardiac output due to the aortic stenosis, and that is the most common presenting like complaint of the persons that they had a repeated syncopic attack and which they don't understand why they got unconscious. And when you go on the examination and the further seeing this patient, you know that the patient, you come to know that the patient is having aortic stenosis. Classical sign of the coarctation are diminished or absence of the femoral pulses. That is, the pulses are reduced, and the especially the pulses of the upper and the lower extremities. There is a difference between the pressure within the both pulses. The femoral pulses are the weak, whereas the radial pulses are the good in these patients. So the radiofemoral delay is very common in the coarctation of aorta. Higher BP in the upper extremities as compared to the lower extremities. 90% has systolic hypertension of the upper extremities, and the pulse discrepancy.
अच्छा पीछे तू ही नजर आए
Discretion of the
ऐना फैशन जिन्नी नजर नहीं भी जाएगी होके गए हैं कड़ी नवाब आ गए निश्चित तबे पढ़ते सुन
okay. Differential okay, ji. The differential cyanosis, if ductus is still open, 2/6 systolic ejection murmur or along the left sternal border is there. अगर आप इसको देखें, आप सुने इसका murmur. Ejection systolic murmur है, इसमें भी आप देखें तो सिर्फ initial 1/3 of systole में आपको murmur सुनेगा. बाकी आपको हार्ट साउंड हमेशा ये याद रखें, जो हार्ट साउंड में आपको फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड हार्ट साउंड अलग से सुन रहे हो वो इजेक्शन सिस्टोलिक मर्मर ही होता है. यूजुअली हार्ट के मर्मर ज्यादातर इजेक्शन सिस्टोलिक ही होते हैं. इसमें भी अगर आप सुने तो फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड हार्ट साउंड आपको अलग-अलग सुनता है और एक हार्ट साउंड के बिल्कुल साथ छोटा सा मर्मर है. पैनसिस्टोलिक मर्मर में फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड हार्ट साउंड यूजुअली डिफरेंशिएट नहीं किए जा रहे होते, इतना तेज मर्मर होता है. Cardiomegaly is there, and especially the rib notching on the X-ray is present where the aortic arch is present. If you see, there is the area from where the aortic arch is bypassing. So there is a rib notching due to the high pressure within the aorta. It puts the pressure on the ribs and causes the notching in the ribs. With severe coarctation, maintaining the ductus and the severe coarctation, we need the ductus arteriosus to be patent so that the blood is shunted into the peripheral circulation through this ductus. So we give the prostaglandin E is essential in these cases to prevent the closure of the ductus in the neonatal life. Surgical intervention is required as soon as you know the patient is having a coarctation to prevent the left ventricular dysfunction. If this coarctation is kept for a prolonged period of the time, it will lead to the left ventricular failure. Angioplasty is usually used by some centers. The recoarctation, the most common problem in this is the recoarctation of the ductus into the patient. So they are continuously followed up for the see the recoarctation, and then it is balloon angioplasty is usually done then to increase the diameter of the aorta at the level of the constriction. ओके, दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन बेटा, इसका आंसर करें, आपको थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया होगा फोर्थ ईयर में. एग्जामिनेशन पे वी हैड अ 3-year-old infant who shows dysmorphic feature and cyanosis. Both the occiput and the facial profiles are flat and with the fontanella are abnormally enlarged. Space between the great and the first and the second great toe is increased and he has a Mongolian faces basically. So what is the syndrome and have the 70% saturation? जी बेटा, चैट बॉक्स में बताएंगे किसी को पता हो मंगोलियन फेसेस के साथ कौन सा सिंड्रोम आता है. जी, और उस सिंड्रोम का अगर मैं नाम बता दूंगी तो आपको पता चल जाएगा कि मंगोलियन आता है. दैट इज डाउन सिंड्रोम. गुड, शाबाश. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज डाउन सिंड्रोम. और उस डाउन सिंड्रोम के साथ अभी मैंने बात की थी, डाउन सिंड्रोम के साथ कौन सा वाला ज्यादा आता है हार्ट डिजीज? जी, मेरी सारी स्लाइडें हिल गई हैं. जी जी बेटा बोलिए. गुड, डाउन सिंड्रोम. गुड. डाउन सिंड्रोम के साथ कौन सी कार्डिक डिजीज बहुत कॉमन है? अभी मैंने बताई है, 2 डिजीजेस कॉमन है. एक बताइए, एक नहीं बताई. सोचो. जी, डाउन सिंड्रोम के साथ कौन सी 2 डिजीजेस कॉमन बताई थी? जी, गुड. कोएक्टेशन ऑफ एओर्टा बिल्कुल भी नहीं, वो तो गलती से स्लाइड खुल गई थी. बेटा 2 डिजीजेस हैं जो पीडी इसके साथ एसोसिएटेड हैं डाउन सिंड्रोम के साथ. फर्स्ट इज द एटियोवेंट्रिकुलर सेप्टल डिफेक्ट एंड दूसरा पेटेंट डक्टस arteriosus. Atioventricular septal defect and patent ductus arteriosus are the 2 diseases which are very common with this illness. Okay, the answer is atioventricular septal defect. अगला क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. After a few days of poor feeding and tachypnea, 3-week-old child presented with hypertension, poor central and peripheral pulses, severe metabolic acidosis, a gallop rhythm is audible, and the heart appears to be enlarged on X-ray with a marked hepatomegaly. ठीक हो गया. कौन सा काम हम सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कर सकते हैं फौरी तौर पे इस बच्चे में? गिव 100% ग्लोबुलिन इन्फ्यूजन, फिनाइलेफ्रीन इन्फ्यूजन, प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन इन्फ्यूजन. ये जरा डिफिकल्ट है आपके लिए, फाइनल ईयर के लेवल का क्वेश्चन है. जी, थोड़ा कोशिश करो. अभी मैंने बताया, जब पेशेंट को अगर देखो ना पेरिफेरल पल्सेस पुअर है, पुअर फीडिंग है, प्रेजेंटेड विद हाइपोटेंशन, पुअर पेरिफेरल पल्सेस हैं, और अब वो हार्ट फेलियर में जा रहा है, और हमने भी पीछे किया है, तो उसको डिजीज कौन सी हुई है? उसको होगी कोएक्टेशन ऑफ एओर्टा. और हमने भी पढ़ा है कि कोएक्टेशन ऑफ एओर्टा में आपको पल्मोनरी जो है डक्टस arteriosus उसको खुला रखना है. 3rd डे पे वो क्लोज होना शुरू हुआ है तो उसको हार्ट फेलियर होना शुरू हो गया इस डक्टस के थ्रू, क्योंकि कोएक्टेशन ऑफ एओर्टा इतनी क्रिटिकल है कि ब्लड जो है वो शंट नहीं किया जा रहा पूरी बॉडी को. तो डक्टस के थ्रू वो ब्लड शंट होगा। तो इसका आंसर है वी विल गिव प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन ई इन्फ्यूजन टू कीप द डक्टस ओपन एंड द पेरिफेरल blood flow accurately before the surgical is planned. Okay ji beta, next question है, a term infant is born with a large ventricular septal defect. At which age is the infant most likely to first demonstrate the clinical finding of congestive heart failure? That is the 2 days of life. Before the 2 days right side का pressure high होता है तो इसलिए शंट हो नहीं रहा होता 2 days से पहले। 2 days के बाद जब राइट साइड का प्रेशर थोड़ा कम हो जाता है तो लेफ्ट टू राइट लीजन्स जितनी है आज हमने पढ़ी है ये सारी सेकंड डे ऑफ लाइफ पे मरमर इनके सुनते हैं, फर्स्ट डे ऑफ लाइफ पे ये प्रेजेंट नहीं करती, क्योंकि जब न्यूबॉर्न पैदा होता है तो उसका लेफ्ट साइड का राइट साइड का प्रेशर हाई होता है कंपेयर टू द लेफ्ट साइड होता है। इन बच्चों में सिम्टम्स लेफ्ट टू राइट शंट की आनी शुरू हो जाती हैं। ओके बच्चे, थैंक यू, खुदा हाफिज, इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट टाइम फिर आपसे मुलाकात होगी। ओके जी, बाय।